Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Monday. It's Labor Day. Clap for the laborers.
I gotta go on break.
Oh yeah, you are mandated of 15 every 4 hours, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
We'll meet up later.
Let's talk about a game that required a ton of labor to get in a playable condition. We all remember No Man's Sky, right folks?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Familiar.
the video game. It's possibly the most notorious game of the 2010s. It had a ton of hype built up around it, only to release in a unfinished and kind of boring state.
I said on IGN content that I thought that it wouldn't have much content and would be bad. And the comments on that video are all still there. People calling me a stupid bitch who doesn't know what she's talking about. No Man's Sky is going to be the greatest game ever. And somebody started a petition to get me fired. I was right.
Anyways, you think that the studio would have learned its lesson, but you'd be wrong because Sean Murray, the head of Hello Games, is revving up those hype engines once again. You remember Sean Murray?
Not to be confused with Sergeant Murray.
Staff Sergeant Murray.
Staff Sergeant Murray.
Yeah.
That's right.
But really, Sean Murray gave an interview to Polygon talking about the huge and ambitious new game he's working on.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Can't help it.
What if you just made it very quietly and then you could release a next update and the game will be fantastic?
It is a pretty good game now, yeah, from what I played. I just got kind of bored of it.
Doesn't sound like you thought it was that good.
You have to be in the right mood to play a game like that.
I think I have to start a new save.
When's the last time you tried it?
It was after the Beyond update. Every single update, I have my annual reinstall of No Man's Sky and then subsequent uninstall. This vicious cycle that I've been subjecting myself to again and again.
So he compared the in-development game to his most notorious game, calling it a huge, ambitious game like No Man's Sky. He didn't get into a lot of details about the upcoming project, saying that he wants to keep it under wraps, but he did say that they have learned lessons from No Man's Sky and the insanity that followed its launch.
So Murray told Polygon, there is this poison chalice or deal with the devil that I think any indie game developer would find actually a very difficult choice, right? The choice that we had with No Man's Sky, where if I was to go back again, I would find it very difficult to know what the right path was. And I do think that that is totally fair. It's very difficult for indies to figure out how to market, and I think a lot of the time they want to execute on this massive thing, so they're excited to talk about it, not knowing how that will be received.
The biggest hurdle any game has is getting attention. There are a lot of games out there. It's tough to differentiate yours. What makes yours stand out?
Dick physics. That would make it stand out, right?
Yeah, Dick Physics would.
He can ship a game. You guys are, of course, talking about indie game legend Dick Physics.
Rigid physics.
Murray added, where you will have incredible interest in your game, you will have a huge amount of excitement for it, but you will be in a rocket ship launching towards the sun, and you will be building that rocket on the way up.
He added, and there is an excitement and a craziness to that, where we've ended up with the game where we have hundreds of millions of hours played and a really happy community and all of that kind of thing, you know. I'm okay with that deal that we did, right? Boy, it is hard to read what he said.
I know.
He definitely said this stuff out loud. This was not an email interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, if you aren't familiar with No Man's Sky, it's a case study of a game where hype just got completely out of control. It was bad. It reached like unheard of levels back in 2016. Players were just thinking that they were going to get to explore a vast procedurally generated universe with their friends.
At the time, I didn't own a PlayStation, and I was like, I couldn't afford one at that time, but I was seriously like, how the do I get a PlayStation so I can play this game?
Yeah, I mean, it was built as one of those last games you'll ever need with the ability to explore basically an infinite universe.
So when the game did finally release in 2016, it left a little something to be desired. Lots of people tried the game out. Many felt that there just was not a lot to do.
It led to a lot of backlash and tons of media coverage asking if the game was the biggest flop of all time, and full disclosure, we definitely did our share of No Man's Sky videos back in the day. Well, the No did, which we still are according to our YouTube URL, so...
Take no responsibility for any of that.
I ain't no.
Anyway, before we continue on, we'd like to quickly say thank you to Purple Mattress for sponsoring today's episode. No segue, just straight into it. Let's get it over with.
That's good. That's honestly the best case scenario for us.
Back to
don't like my segues? Hold on.
We should keep reading. We should keep reading. We should go.
Go quick.
Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is brought to you by Purple Mattresses. You know, throw some bedding on a bunch of different mattresses, and sure, they're all gonna look alike. Same goes for pillows, but peel away those layers, look at what's inside, and you'll see they aren't all created equal. And that's what makes every Purple pillow and mattress unlike anything you have ever slept on before. The Purple Grid is what sets the Purple mattress apart from every other mattress. It is patented comfort technology, and it instantly adapts to your body's natural shape and sleep style. I can vouch for it. They sent me a pillow. The most comfortable pillow I've ever slept on. We got over 1,800 open-air channels designed to neutralize body heat. Purple provides a cooling effect that other mattresses cannot replicate. And this cutting-edge technology does not stop at the mattresses. Every Purple pillow is engineered with the grid for total head and neck support and absolute airflow, so you are always on the cool side of the pillow. You don't have to flip it around in the middle of the night. The proprietary technology has been innovating comfort for over 15 years. And I got the pillow, and it is so comfortable. For real, I wake up, no neck pain, nothing. Go to sleep real fast, just kind of sink into it. It does have the grid on it, so there is that airflow constantly going through, so it's a very cool feeling pillow, which is very important in these hot LA nights. You can try every Purple product totally risk-free with free shipping and returns, and Purple has financing available as low as 0% APR for qualified customers. So experience the Purple grid for yourself. You will sleep like never before. Go to purple.com/inside10. Use promo code INSIDE10. For a limited time, you will get 10% off any order of $200 or more. That is purple.com/inside10. Promo code INSIDE10. Terms apply. Thank you, Purple, for sponsoring today's show.
Back to friend of the show, Sean Murray, and all the No Man's Sky backlash. In an interview with The Guardian in 2018, Murray said that the weeks after the game's release were really dark, which isn't surprising.
Yeah.
And he also talked about his own failures in communication that helped the hype for No Man's Sky just been totally out of control.
He told The Guardian, "The internet is really good at knowing when somebody has made a mistake. It's not necessarily the best at determining the most appropriate response, but it's really good at knowing when somebody has messed something up."
He admitted that we definitely messed up a whole bunch of communication and said that he was naive and overly excited about the game. Critics said the game was incomplete and accused Murray and Hello Games of not living up to their promises, and that is when all hell broke loose.
Apparently the harassment was so bad that the UK-based studio was in regular contact with the local police, as well as investigators at Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard. I always think
Scotland
about
Yard.
Taylor Swift saying it in Cats. Scotland Yard. Why did they give her cat tits?
Well, they all had tits.
Did Idris Elba have tits?
No tits on Idris Elba.
Then not everyone had tits.
In a chilling quote, Murray said, "There's a smorgasbord of things that the angry mob can do. It is a crowdsourced thing of how bad you make someone's life." But to their credit, the dev team did keep working, adding long-awaited features like building bases, planetary vehicles, and more. And then it culminated in the game's next expansion in 2018, which was like one of my games of the year in 2018. As someone who really didn't like No Man's Sky initially, I loved the next update, which also finally added the promised actual multiplayer to the game. You and your friends can serve as a crew on a freighter together or colonize a planet.
Remember when that was a selling point that you would never ever see your friend?
Well, yes, there is multiplayer, but you won't find your friends. They'll be quintuple planets away.
Well,
fun.
yes, of course. Well, you see, it's just the multiplayer. Well, yes,
Well,
in a way, as it were.
I can't condone any of this.
Pardon me. So while this story does have a happy ending, it's also a lesson in not promising too much. Murray said that all the backlash to No Man's Sky did take a toll, and he told Polygon that was a very, very hard process, and I would not want to put anyone through that again.
back to the new game, Polygon asked him about whether or not he wants to hype this game the way he did No Man's Sky, or whether he'd just like to release it out of nowhere. And strangely, despite all the drama he's been through, Murray said he wasn't sure. If you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat the past.
That's the famous quote, yeah.
That's why they call it a gift.
I believe that's what Gandhi said.
He so desperately wants to go back on Colbert.
He said, "I think about it a lot, and I don't know where I come down on it. There is a really positive thing about talking about your game a lot, where you get people interested in it who wouldn't have played it otherwise."
It would suck to be an indie studio and not feel comfortable marketing your game. So
Right.
I hope that
Yeah.
they can figure out a balance. And yeah, in the case of No Man's Sky, the good thing about all the hype is that they got the attention of a huge amount of people who might not have even known about it otherwise, which in theory continued to support the game to make it what it is today.
He added that, "I look back having done a lot of different press opportunities and things like that, and I reckon about half of what we did and a lot of where we had problems, I think where we were naive, we didn't really need to do, and we would have had the same level of success. You know?"
Stop asking me if I know. I do.
You know?
Sure, He went on to say a lot of opportunities were put in front of us, and we were told that they were the right things to do, and I look back and I'm not sure that they were super important to the overall outcome. The media hype is definitely a double-edged sword, gets your game attention, which is what everybody wants, but it also pumps up expectations, and there's also an addictive quality to getting all that attention too. Murray didn't come out and say that, but it also seems like he himself got caught up in all that hype and then, paid the price.
Which I get. You'd be really excited about your own game and other people being excited about your game. Like, I'm not going to criticize him for it. The biggest issue with the No Man's Sky marketing or press was that he was promising stuff that they just couldn't execute on. And I don't think he knew that. So the lesson that you would take in theory would be, if we don't know for sure that this feature can make it 100%,
yes,
don't talk about it. Meanwhile, his studio, Hello Games, just released a puzzle game called The Last Campfire. It's a cute and much smaller scale game than No Man's Sky. No hype, no drama, just a game. Imagine that.
Can you picture that?
Can you picture that?
The internet is mad. Should we respond? Absolutely not. So what should I do?
No.
Absolutely nothing.
All right, I'm going to
Excellent.
respond and say nothing then. Then everyone will be happy.
Witkin was a bit defensive to start off with, pointing out that they have communicated updates about Squadron 42 in their monthly reports, actually. But the fact remains that they overpromised, basically, on the level of communication